The Midland Railway Consolidation Act was passed in 1844, authorising the merger of the Midland Counties Railway, the North Midland Railway and the Birmingham and Derby Junction Railway. These met at Tri-Junct Station at Derby, where the Midland Railway established its locomotive and later to be carriage and wagon works. The Midland Railway lasted until the grouping of 1922, when it formed into the LMS, becoming part of the largest railway company in Britain. The 4F 060 goods were an upgrade of an earlier Midland 38-35 class 060 goods. A total of 575 were built from 1924 to 1941 from 7 factories, the vast majority being constructed at Derby Works. The locos were a mixed traffic. They could pull goods as well as passenger trains. They lasted up until the end of steam in 1966. 3 LMS types survive, and 1 Midland type survives today in preservation. For a more in-depth look at the 4S class, please click on the link below to Steam Locos in Profile by my good friend Chris Eden Green. The loco we are looking at today is the new retooled 4F in N-gauge from Graham Farish by Bachman.
Hello and welcome again to another Mark on Track. Again, we're at the Model Railway Club in King's Cross, and today we're looking at another N-gauge locomotive. And this is a completely new retooled of an old favourite. I'm of course speaking of Graham Farish's 4F locomotive. Now these are meant to be released individually at the time of this recording. They're not meant to be out until around about February, March, April, so that's a long way off. This is ripped from the Seaside Excursion set, which comes with this and 2 BR Mk1 coaches. The locomotive here is the new tool 4F. I got this just before Christmas as a bit of a Christmas treat to myself. So let's have a look at it. It does, well, it's ripped from the set, so it's in a little plastic box and the instructions come separately. Let's get it out. Now, one thing about this locomotive I've noticed, and including N-Gauge UK, who is our layout leader on Lacey Dale, the locomotive is very light. But then again, it is now loco drive, not the original tender drive. And there's the locomotive there, very light. This is really impressive. Because originally, the original loco was tender drive, where the tender motor would be here and it would actually be pushing the locomotive. So in theory, you'd have a tender doing most of the work. But now, locomotives are becoming loco drive, so the motor is now inside the locomotive in sort of around the firebox area, or at least that's where it is according to the exploded diagram. And to fit the chip, there's a little socket inside the tender shell. The tender shell pops off. I won't do it now because it is a bit of another caution I find with some of these now super detailed locos is, again, you've got to be a little bit careful. Things like this vacuum brake could break off. And same here, vacuum pipes rather. And it's a nice solid look. And also you do get an impressive amount of backhead detail inside the cab. We'll have to go in for a closer look to look at that. Hopefully you can see it now. But the detail inside the cab is amazing for this scale. You could fit in a crew at any position you wanted. But just look at the things like the regulator, all the valves and pipe work, all inside there, just beautifully presented. So you can now really say that they have come a long way. But also things like the exposed superheating pipes outside here and the spacing in between what would be underneath here, the cylinders pumping away, and the boiler is just it's just brilliant spacing. And of course the wheels are now see-through, whereas the original ones were just solid moulded blocks where you couldn't see through. No sprung buffers, this is N-scale, it's a bit unnecessary, but it is a really nice locomotive. And of course the 4F is a mixed traffic, so you can run it with freight or passenger, mixed duties, whichever way you want. And I think, and I'm going to show you running, that this really is an achievement for Graham Farish to bring this old favourite up to the 21st century. Let's have a look at it.